What is up, folks? Welcome to another episode of my Holy Broken Empire playthrough. I've caught up a lot, guys, in the comments and so on, because this is a new recording session, and feel free if you guys hate talkative stuff to sort of skip forward 5-10 minutes. I'm going to be fairly talkative here in the beginning of this episode because I wanted to address a lot of the stuff. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be making some high priority provinces, which I kind of forgot about, which I think maybe is necessary, but I wanted to talk about a few things, and one of which is we all know how amazing the internet is at certain things, guys, and one of those things is really showing their prowess over sort of the individual and how good the collective is, of course. And I liked one thing that I always considered, guys, from being from a viewer kind of point of view, and I always fancied doing something like this, like content creating stuff, but never really thought I'd be able to have that kind of opportunity. With that being said, one thing that I always disliked about streamers in particular is when they kind of rail and the negativity expressed towards their own viewer base. Have you guys noticed that? I've noticed an awful lot of that, and it's kind of disappointing because I'm going to disinherit this air before I forget because it's garbage. Get out of here. We got pretty good prestige. It's disappointing because, those are the people who give the streamer or the content creator the opportunity in the first place. But I have to admit that there is a fine line of sort of frustration where the people can really get irritating. And with that being in mind, I have been a little bit irritated, unfortunately, with some of my comments and so on, and I try to keep that in mind because I never want to kind of go around banning people or anything like that, and I really mean that. I believe in kind of freedom, but it's pretty standard, guys, that when you have a community, the community might be like really cool, for example, like my community is, in my opinion, but as they grow bigger and bigger, they have a tendency to kind of deteriorate in that way. And I feel like that's happening a little bit in my case. I just wanted to talk about the YouTube comments and how so many of the comments are the same. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but I do read the comments, and it's quite frustrating when I do make mistakes, and I know that, and especially if I'm going to record in kind of bulk. I can't respond to some of the issues, but when every comment is the same on every video, rather, the top comment, and it's thumbed up, I read the comments, guys, and if you post a comment, I'm most likely going to read it, let alone if it's thumbed up over and over again and posted on every video. But I also wanted to talk about how people have kind of been backseat gaming me in regards to the empire. Like, why don't I just add London to the empire and then blah 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 and add Great Britain to the empire is something else, or the fact that Sweden forming Scandinavia is going to make him actually leave the empire. It's funny because somebody posted that, and I believe they were the first person, that if Scandinavia forms, they will leave the empire. And I went in an in-depth discussion with them in the comments, right, to actually make sure that I fully comprehended the situation, because I didn't want it to have a massive negative effect on my series. And from then on, every single video has the same comment, but of course by different people. And those comments are actually posted up, thumbed up. It's a little bit irritating, guys. I know it's a tiny minority of people doing that, but just think about it from my perspective. The thing that irritates me the most is actually people saying, why don't I just do this, and name dropping other content creators and saying, why don't I just do that, or so-and-so would have just done this, or blah, 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 blah. That is really frustrating to me, because there's nothing you can do right as a content creator. If you think about it from my perspective, there's literally nothing I can do, right? Even if I do the most optimal thing, then it appears as though I am copying somebody else. Does that make sense? When you say so-and-so would have just done this, why don't you do this? Watch this video. This is my series, guys. It's my series. I'm not like the most ego-driven person ever, but as it turns out, there is a lot of things that I do which are I mean, there's no way that I can say this without being arrogant. Like, I am not the best player ever. I actually have an opinion on who is the best player, and he's not very well known, and that's Marco Antonio. I've said that before. I believe that he is literally the best, and I am not the best. But I am at a level where I do things which are completely and utterly unprecedented. And that comes from playing for Austria over and over and over and over. And an example of this to all these smart Alex who are spamming comments and why don't I just do that and putting me into a hard position where I do the best thing and it appears as though I'm just copying somebody else. I bet though many of you did not consider the fact. Now, I just want to say, firstly, I apologize that I'm sort of ranting already. And secondly, that you will notice that usually I hold on to my cards so that when I reveal something, it is a little bit more exciting. And unfortunately, I'm going to kind of ruin that here, but I'm not. I wonder if many of you guys realize that I can declare a war against literally anybody like this. I think I'm about to get Holy War CBO against Aristakhan, or this, and I can concede defeat by revoking a reform. I can then improve relations with Bohemia, for example, Byzantium, and then revoke, and they will become my subject again. So that is an example of something that I don't think the absolute vast majority of you took into consideration, or many of you are not even capable of taking those kind of things into consideration. I'd appreciate it if people don't plug their favorite content provider, and if they don't spam the same comments over and over again and put me into hard positions. I just appreciate it if when you guys post comments that you consider what are my options as a provider, because if you say somebody starts a series as Austria and you just start spamming, why don't you do this, why don't you do that, why don't you reign in Italy, why don't you PU Bohemia, why don't you Hungary, then anything that they do, like, oh, we're going to reign in Italy, guys, it may appear as though it's just following your instructions, especially when you say so-and-so showed me that you can reign in Italy so easily by just doing this. Then it appears as though you're just copying so-and-so, right? Either way, guys, apologize for that rant. I just felt like saying something because the reality is if this is something that, like, I work hard in real life, guys. I work hard in real life, and this is something that I do to sort of, instead of, I spend a lot of time, instead of sort of playing my own games, I'm sort of doing this quote-unquote work. And if it's beginning to become less enjoyable and stress me out and stuff, I'm just going to mention it so that those of you who are not doing that kind of thing intentionally kind of understand that. But I know I'm really wasting my breath for the most part. Let's get into this episode where I do actually intend to go in against Aristakhan. Now, I've been thinking about Great Britain and so on, guys. The best nation, the easiest nation to add to the empire would be Russia because its capital is right here. There's no hurry, but it would be really crazy because he should be self-autonomous and he can go around conquering Asia. A little bit of an issue with the fact that he's Orthodox, but we could probably have Liberty Desire with him. He did not take religious ideas, so we'd probably have to convert most of his land. Let's talk really quickly about Burgundy forming France. He can't do it if France exists. So what I'm going to try to do is probably take one province for myself like that, and then core it up, add it to the empire, and then release France, for example, if, well, you guys get the point. As long as France exists, we're fine on Burgundy leaving the empire. I'm going to take this province and give it to Holstein, and Scandinavia will not leave the empire. Bohemia cannot leave, Byzantium cannot leave. Glacier can leave if he forms Ruthenia or Russia. Can't form Russia if Russia exists. Can't form Ruthenia if I do not give him this province, which I'm going to give to Genoa, because he's got it stated up anyway. So that's where I'm at in regards to those things, guys. But let's get this episode kicking into full force instead of rambling and feeling sorry for myself. I am really enjoying this either way, guys, but I did want to sort of what I'm honestly doing, guys. I'm not gonna lie, is kind of learning as we go here. And often when you do learn as you go, there is room for error. There's no doubt about that. But I did intend to make sort of a standalone summary video on some of the unprecedented concepts. Again, just because I feel a little bit arrogant, guys, I want to talk about, for example, vassalizing Sweden. That is something that I believe I was the first to do in the entire community, right? I'm not saying that I'm the best ever, but it did occur to me that using the age bonus and going Diplo ideas instead of influence ideas, which most people do as Austria because of the aggressive expansion reduction, it did give you the ability to vassalize Sweden or steal that from Denmark. That is something that I didn't learn from anybody, I didn't copy from anybody, I just did it myself, and it happens to be one of the bloody greatest moves ever. That's why I'm able to revoke so early, right? Is because of all these promises we had to the Empire. Either way, enough of that, let's continue on. I wanted to expand into QQ because he looks really vulnerable. And notice that the Ottomans are about to take this, which is about to give us Holy War CB against him. So I'm looking forward to that because I feel like if we crush the Ottomans, Byzantium might go in. He might go in. He looks fairly stable to me. But I bet you he's in debt. How much debt does he have? 450. Damn. That's a lot. I might pay it off. Yeah. Yeah, other people commenting, for example, why don't I break relations with Bohemia, for example, once they blow up, to not use a Diplo slot? That's exactly what I intended to do, guys. Exactly what I intended to do, but looks as though... Oh, there we go. He annexed that really quickly. Looks as though it's not my idea, right? If you comment. Although I know most people don't see what I see, which is all the comments and so on. I've also been thinking about, well, forget it. I do have quite some overextension right now, which puts QQ on a bit of a back burner. Our truce will come up with Denmark, and we have to make sure that we have the claim then. Otherwise, I don't know, I could no CB him or something, or attack one of his allies, but we should be going in against Denmark. That's pretty high priority. Now, I also feel like I need to go back to war, because I'm about to get bloody... PU to prioritize, and she's relatively old. So, yeah, why don't we feed Serbia in the meantime? Let's feed Serbia. That looks like an easy enough war to me. And I will give this province to Burgundy. If he will take it, which he should do. We'll see. He's been coring up a lot of land, that guy. Yeah, one thing I was thinking about, guys, is my overall intentions, you know? Like, a lot of people have a lot of suggestions, which I appreciate. That's kind of what I was asking for, was suggestions. But as many of you know, this game can begin to sort of be a little bit... Well, my point is, I upload an episode every day, guys. Do I really want to go on for months and months and months doing a series if there's no sort of need to do so? I've been thinking about the intentions of this series and what I want to achieve. If I don't have really good ideas, then I might... Well, let's just say that I've already been working on other content. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want it to be a negative thing. I want it to be a positive thing. But... yeah, I'm not being perfectly clear, but I hope you guys know what I mean. Like, I think many of you might be in agreement that if I could do cooler stuff, maybe you guys would be interested in watching that as opposed to watching the late game, the mid and the late game of this play out, as you guys have seen it many times before. I'm not saying that I'm not going to continue this. I hope what I'm saying is clear. It's just that it might sort of not be a priority. Jeez, man. I guess we're going to piss off the nobility here. That's a bad event. It's been about 30 years since we've revoked, and I feel like we're doing pretty well. I think my truce with Poland is coming up this year. And what I intend to do is feed the knights into his state. These here, one of which he doesn't have a claim. But we're doing fine on Diplo points. Hopefully prompting Bohemia to attack and take the Polish provinces. Yes. But I feel like some of my subjects I intend to feed. You know, it's nice having subjects is what I'm trying to say. It's nice having subjects as opposed to just having these independent nations. My economy seems like it's doing really well. So how about this? Look at that. Byzantium's got a large army for once in his life. That feels good. So it's beginning there. Paid off your debt. Byzantium, I hope you're happy. It's beginning to look like, look at that, Byzantium, he might, especially because we just paid off his debt. If we go in against the Ottomans, which I fully intend to do, he might do it himself. Been thinking about the Ottomans though, guys, and it's probably a state-based thing. I want to give the Turkish culture to Byzantium, but then states are also an issue, so we could take Trebizond for ourselves. Yeah. And I definitely want to declare war for my own self, like against QQ, where I intend to take the lane and core it up. Okay, Sweden's going to break his alliance here, and it is because we share too many of the same desired stuff, so let's fix that up. These Ottoman separatists walking onto Byzantium is quite annoying, I must admit. Okay. Let's go ahead and attack Poland. Byzantium adding his provinces to the empire. Let's just put it this way, guys. The minimum that I would like to do is get that sweet screenshot. Only Europe can be added to the empire, but I feel like if I could take a screenshot of Europe, all of Europe being inside the empire, and I've not added it myself, I think that's the minimum of my ambitions this playthrough, and I think that's a pretty noble ambition, as somebody said in the comments. So I'm really sort of feeling the motivation to get, even if it's just for me, guys, or my wallpaper, that's different. And massaging my ego from earlier, it's something that probably no player has ever done, right? Because it's not really possible, is to not own the land and have every single province added to the empire. Oh, I need to call in Burgundy. Oh. No! Mistakes were made. That's fine. Not too worried about it. I'd have to call him in to give him the province. I might, okay. Yep. We're not going to need much war score against Poland. I might piece Poland out, call Burgundy in to give him that province. It'll be worth it. We've got so many favors. Yeah, so in order to get this sweet screenshot, I would have to like cancel Croatia, Serbia, Naples, that kind of thing, so that they add their provinces. Um, which I'm not gonna lie, I might prep the game and then kind of just save scum. Especially if I'm not even going to continue the game, I'm not too concerned about save scumming. But just to get the screenshot, I would save scum. Not to play the game, but to get the screenshot. And by that I mean sort of waiting till the end of the month, cancelling all of their subjects so that they add all of their land, taking the screenshot, and then exiting the game. Which is pretty cheesy, and I never do to further myself. I never do it to further my game, as you guys see. But I perhaps would do it to get a screenshot like that. Byzantium's no longer rivaling Venice. I guess they're invalid. And he doesn't even demand Albania. Really? Okay. Well, I might feed it to Serbia in that case. Cost us some Diplo points. But Serbia will probably accept the culture and he'll state that up. So where exactly are the Teutons here? A lot of people wanted me to release the Teutonic Order. Trust me guys, I know how you feel. I really want to release them as well. We could do it. I don't know. Could be done. Kind of hoping that I get an heir right now. Is there any of these nations that we don't have a royal marriage with? Looks like we do. Jeez. Even Ethiopia. Oh, no we don't. Let's royal marriage at Ethiopia, hoping to get a queen and an heir. Feels bad, man. I should probably ally Ethiopia. I should have done that before I forget, I suppose. So hoping that now I've made this high priority that Holstein claims it up, because we need some kind of claim against Denmark. Trying to get the actual occupations that I need so that we can actually give them to the Teutonic Order. It looks like Lithuania is about to be free from Poland if these rebels are successful, but they probably will not be successful as long as we continue to walk around the whole HRE vassal swarm on his territory. I wonder, would it be a problem? Would it be a benefit or would it be a problem if he was free? Let me think just for a second. Pretty inconsequential, I think, actually. If we look at great powers, none of our dudes are great powers yet, and Bohemia is not rivaling Russia, surprisingly. I think Poland is going to be an invalid rival if this happens, and we should find Bohemia rivaling Russia. That's really what I'd like to see, so that he can go out there and crush them. Galicia is not able to rival Poland, but that should change shortly. There's a Holy War CB out here. Let's actually go prep my army for the next war. Same goes for this one. As opposed to doing other things, that's the smartest move, I think. Try to be time efficient because we can declare this shortly. I kind of want to peace out before these rebels are successful. Get wrecked, I mean, before they die. Now, I'm improving relations with Great Britain and Russia, guys, and part of the reason I'm doing that is because they might still exist, and we might add them to the empire. I'm kind of undecided. Did I mention this or not? I forget. The issue with Great Britain, guys, is literally the Irish will form Ireland. Wales Great Britain, or English rather, Scottish, or Highlander will all form Great Britain and leave the Empire. Which means the options are basically to feed him to Holland, for example, or cheese him into the Empire by taking his capital. And there's no real sort of alternatives without having him leave the Empire. Scandinavia, I'm not going to give him that. Burgundy, I'm going to make sure France still exists, even if we sort of guarantee him or whatever. Spain, I'm going to feed Catalonia his core, and then probably take a province to add Aragon to the empire, and then feed Aragon the rest of the Iberia, but he will not be able to form Spain because he doesn't own Valencia, for example, which will be a Catalonian core. That's what I'm thinking about at this stage, but, yes. Don't know. Just survive, pretender rebels. Oh, we need a fort somewhere. Really? That should do it. Hopefully we take that one. I mean, if those pretender rebels fall, it's not the end of the world. I think they will fall by the looks of things. Okay. Before this guy makes an ally, let's dow him. Crusade. Cool. I love it when that happens. Savoy's at war with him, and I guess he just said, let's crusade him. And I'm like, okay, feels good, man. Nice. He doesn't have any core on us, surprisingly. I thought he did have some, but he actually has none whatsoever. Ah, the rebels were successful, weren't they? Interesting. So I'm interested to see what plays out here. I wouldn't make mistakes. I gotta think smart. If we release a nation, then Glacier could rival them and attack them and gobble them up if they're weak, right? Now I gotta be careful releasing that guy, because if they're fully annexed, then he can form Ruthenia. So what about Kiev? It's so expensive, dude. It's not. I'm not too worried about the Diplo points, but I am worried about the war score cost, which gives us a massive truce. I think that's a smart move. I think we'll release Kiev and Glacier will gobble him up for free. That's how it looks like to me. I think that's a smart move. Glacier will do all the works. Now here, I just want a little bit of land. So I kind of ballsed up giving that to Burgundy. That's whatever. How about we break that alliance, and then perhaps Burgundy will just attack him himself. He doesn't have a claim right now, actually, come to think of things. He did for the longest time, but it's gone away. Come on, Burgundy. Kill him. I know you desire it. I know you do. So that is part of the Bosnian area. If I'm going to give any stuff to Serbia, I might as well do that. How much is this? 61 points. Alright, sure. We'll make Serbia richer and richer. He pays us tribute, which I like. Oh, there it is! Burgundy takes France's spot. Feels good, man. That is satisfying to me, guys. Just nerding out here a little bit. There it is. Burgundy is the 7th great power who, of course, unbeknownst to the game, he is our dude. He has no free will of his own. Whatever he does, we gain for free, essentially. It's 1564. It's going to take a while to get these guys the ball rolling, but I am interested to see how crazy they go, you know? It's interesting to me. Like, if Byzantium was to crusade like crazy out to the east, that would be cool. Let's equip the siege general. So, he doesn't have debt any longer. Good, good. Part of the issue here with Byzantium is, well, all of them, is their economy. And I was wondering, like, he should be rich, right? But he was in a really bad situation, I suppose. Now we've paid off his debt. He has no debt. That's what I want to see. So we can quickly check sort of who has debt. And it appears as though all the free nations don't have debt. Byzantium built his forces up quite a bit. So I'm pretty confident if we attack the Ottomans and start mauling them, that he's going to go in just like Bohemia did against Poland. Speaking of which, oh, his truce is way too long. Bohemia's not going to go in anytime soon. But Poland no longer has the union, guys. So I suspect that Poland's going to be just free, up for grabs. This border friction with Bohemia is really unfortunate, and so is the treason against Austria. Is there a reason this is popping that I don't know about? God damn, it gives us a break, man. I can take points, which I'm not in desperate need of. I'll probably wait till I take my next idea group. I'm stressing about not having an heir, though. Can we get an heir, please? I mean, the good news nowadays, guys, is that even if we had a noble take over, he would become the emperor. We are the emperor, period. But the issue is getting PU'd. It keeps suggesting that we're going to be PU'd, which I don't like that suggestion. Okay, I think I'm happy with Kiev. And yeah, for truce time, I'm going to wait there. So surely Glacier will rival him. He's rivaling Poland now because he's a valid rival. Cool. Let's piece that out. Yeah, truce time. Sure. Well, hold on. Let's think about this. The Livonian Order no longer exists. Jeez, man. And there's no core there. Like, no Latvian core. That's weird. I was thinking about doing the standard vassal jobby out here. Should we do like Estonia? Should we do like Estonia as a little dude? I can't make it core, eh? Well, I guess that answers that. So be it. I'm content with that. The Teutonic Order expands. Feels good, man. He can at least... He's one unified country now, and he's stated up everything. Wow, we're so rich. So people are saying that this is owned 20 manufacturers. That's all it is, and that's what I'm trying to complete, right? I think we're pretty close. Seems pretty close to me. Alright, so Venice. God dang it, Bosnia was taken. By who? Some rebels. Can somebody siege that for me, guys? I might just hire a merc really quick. Deal with these fools, I say. So there's the core, which means I would like to be at peace fairly soon, coring up the rest of these countries. Truce lasts a long time with Russia. Haha, Sweden rivals Russia, Lithuania. Kiev rivals Glacier, so it's inevitable that he'll rival him in return. Doesn't desire the provinces though, he desires Poland's provinces. Get a life, dude. Don't take that. I should have given that to Moldavia. I was thinking about it, but I thought there's no hurry, because it gives us CB against Poland. But I kind of regret it now, because Glacier might take it. It's whatever, but I'd like the borders to be nice and a little bit more sort of efficient than that. Too many military points. So, probably these areas here are cheaply developed, and they can give us good manpower if we make them large enough, like 20 plus development to build more buildings. We can build manpower buildings if we desire. Okay, so we're looking for around 100%, right? I might just be content with that. Make sure that we have caught up everything else, so it is progressing. Yes, it is. I'm going to remove this. No, damn it. I'm going to remove this fort. No, I'm going to keep them both for now. Never mind. Okay. I think Venice is so demoralized that we can give him all of it. No, we can't. God dang it. So what's the deal? It's Crete and the Knights. I might just deal with it in another war then. This is taking forever. So we just do that. Serbia expands. I just also want to say, guys, that I am working on other content right now. I'm not sure if I've mentioned that or not. So hopefully soon it will be uploading and ready to go. And yeah, I haven't yet finished editing it and stuff, which is quite difficult to do. Like, it's sort of a sky's the limit kind of scenario, but I am pretty I feel like it's good content. You know, sometimes I make stuff and I'm not happy with it and I sort of post it anyway. I'm like, oh, whatever. And usually you guys receive it really well. Nice, we got CB, that's what I was looking for. You guys usually receive it really well, which is nice. But other times I'm kind of secretly quite happy with what I've produced, and that is the case. With the stuff that I'm working on right now, so hope that y'all do in fact enjoy it, because that's something entirely in of itself, whether you guys care or not. But I feel like I have been a little bit slacking lately, and with this series being the only stuff that I've been uploading, ideally, in a perfect world, I'd be doing way more. Okay. Before I overextend like crazy, let's see how close we are. We're really close. Alright, I'm just going to wait up, I guess, a little bit. And let's prepare ourselves to fight these rebels. And then I think the next war, guys, is going to be against the Ottomans. And hoping to really make it look appealing for Byzantium to go in and crush them. That's what we're hoping to do. Of course, trying to get that Holy War CB against the Mems and embolden Byzantium as much as possible to where Byzantium will come down and crush the Mamluks in the future in a similar way that they are against, or have been, rather, against the Ottomans. So I'm really looking forward to that truce coming up, because we can do a nice reconquest. And I'm wondering whether we're going to have any of our little HRE nations with annoying diplomacy. See, right now he's allied to Portugal. Little bit of an issue having Burgundy allied to Portugal. Bohemia, I knew it. I was surprised Bohemia wasn't a great power sooner, honestly. But he has officially taken over France as well in the great power status. Feels good, man. Okay, I might do this. Drill our armies a little bit. Like, if this general got an extra shock bonus, he would be nice. Unlikely, but yeah. And that's just about it for this episode, guys. I'm going to take a big chunk of QQ here. Now, one of these provinces, I will ultimately, this one here, I'll ultimately give it, as it's Turkish and it's part of this area, to Byzantium. Probably by, like, selling it or something. Is that a smart idea? Jeez, rip manpower. Maybe it's not a smart idea, actually. I might leave it for him to take. So how about we do that instead? I'm going to leave it there. I think that's smarter, as he might not desire it or whatever. Are you serious? Glacier's not rivaling Kiev. Can you please rival Kiev, you noob? Okay, we have caught that up. We're going to peace out, and that's it for this episode, guys. So, yeah, this is what this series is going to mostly consist of, guys. Is just me enjoying myself. And that's part of the reason that I would like to work on other content at the same time. And I might end up calling this at some stage if I felt like it was sort of a sufficient learning experience. But either way, guys, I hope that you guys have been enjoying. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to continue leaving your feedback, your comments, and things, especially if they are constructive. Appreciate you. See you next time.